kind of marking that procession along I-25. And we've got Drew. Obviously, we were just talking with him about traffic, but he's along that procession route this morning, talking about the plans for today. I mean, hundreds of police officers, Drew, from all across the country are going to come join this procession. You've seen some of them already making their way up there this morning.
Yeah, we've seen a number of police lights, different law enforcement vehicles heading up north on I-25 up to Highway 7. So let's break it down for you. So the motorcade is actually going to start at I-25 and 104th, where we're located here. So that'll be Officer Talley, his family, as well as 9 patrol vehicles representing the 9 other victims in this tragedy. They're going to make their way north on I-25 to Highway 7, and that's when they'll be joined by, get this, 400 to 500 law enforcement vehicles from around the country. And then that procession from Highway 7 will head west to 119th Street and then to South Boulder Road before arriving at Flatirons Community Church at 10:30 in Lafayette. Now, the memorial will start at 11 a.m. Officials say while the general public is welcome to attend, attendance is limited due to COVID-19 restrictions. So anyone interested in viewing the service, you're really encouraged to watch our live stream on Fox 31 now. We'll also have coverage on the Fox 31 News at 11 o'clock. Remember, seating is limited. Attendees will be required to wear masks and social distance inside the church. And it's important to note as well, no public entry allowed into the parking lot there at the church after 10:30 a.m. because that's when they expect the procession to arrive there at the church. So again, this procession is going to be massive to show the support for Officer Eric Talley. Again, 400 to 500 law enforcement vehicles from around the country will join at Highway 7 up to the north. So I think if you want to show your support, go ahead and do so on Highway 7. That's when you'll see that 400 to 500 cars as part of this procession. Here along I-25 will be the motorcade, the start of the procession, if you will. But that'll get started, Kirk and Megan, just before 10 o'clock at about 9:50, and we'll be here to cover it when it happens.
That's right. We'll be on it. Thank you, Drew. Appreciate that.
Yep.
All right, well, all city of Boulder buildings and facilities will be closed today. The city says the closure is to give city employees time to grieve and honor the victims lost in last week's shooting. City officials say all employees will have the day off except for those in essential roles that provide critical services like people in life safety positions. But the city says those who do have to work today will get 8 hours of vacation to use at a later date. All city meetings and city-sponsored events will also be canceled today.
Happening Friday, anyone 16 and up eligible for the COVID vaccine in Colorado. Governor Polis says the state is ready to move into phase 2 of its vaccine rollout, which is the general public, the GP phase.
And with more doses headed to Colorado, providers say they're ready to make it happen. Fox 31's Emily Allen joining us live with some pro tips on how to land that coveted appointment. Good morning, Em.
Good morning, Megan and Kirk. This is extremely exciting. Certainly was not anticipating that we would see people over the age of 16 eligible as of Friday. Before, Governor Polis was saying this was a goal for late April, but now we are going to see people over the age of 16 eligible to receive the vaccine starting on Friday. Of course, with millions more Coloradans now becoming eligible, this means it's going to be tougher to get an appointment. Governor Polis anticipates that by mid to late May, everyone who wants the vaccine will have had the opportunity to get it. The governor says that people may feel frustrated during the next 6 to 8 weeks as they are searching and waiting for appointments. The problem solvers have put together a list of tips to help you find an appointment. We spoke with Doug Ward. He has dedicated his free time to helping people find vaccine appointments. His website, vaccinehunter.org, and the Colorado Vaccine Hunters Facebook page are crowdsourcing information on where to find COVID-19 vaccine appointments. He's also driving people to this website, vaccinespotter.org. It combs through various pharmacy websites and posts available appointments every minute. Now, we checked it out this morning. I couldn't believe how many appointments that this site was finding and constantly posting. I highly recommend checking it out.
That's been a game changer because we don't have a centralized system in Colorado. So people are really just, you're at a loss to find a vaccine easily.
Well, and if you're flexible, if you have extra time, and if you're willing to drive, expand your search outside of the metro. Pharmacies in less populated areas tend to offer more availability. We also know Ball Arena is going to be opening up as a mass vaccination site on Thursday. We've been checking so far, haven't found any appointments at Ball Arena, but of course, as soon as that comes online, that's going to be a great place for people to find appointments as well. But in the meantime, if you're interested in checking out that Vaccine Spotter website I talked about, you can check out my Facebook or Twitter pages. I've posted links on how to find that website. Emily Allen, Fox 31.
Well, and Emily, let me ask you this. Because I know you track this pretty closely. So when this last phase kind of first opened up, it was impossible to get an appointment. Do you feel like it's getting any easier as we get closer to this phase 2?
You know, I do. I also think that there are people who have figured out how to work the system and find these appointments. And so I think the key is just listening to their advice, because if you do, you will be able to find it. Like I said, I think this website, people will be surprised to find how many appointments are posted on this website. It could be a great resource.
I love that it's all compiled right there in one convenient place. Thanks. All right, back to our pinpoint weather alert coverage. We're seeing scattered snow showers this morning.
We've got Lisa D'Souza. She's in the pinpoint weather beast. I-25, kind of near downtown Denver. Lisa, you've been all over the place this morning. Obviously, conditions worse as you were up in the Genesee area with some elevation. How are things looking downtown right now?
Well, it seems like the snow is starting to taper off. At this point, we're just kind of looking at flurries. You might be able to see a couple of them right now. But I will say we are still seeing a fair amount of accidents here throughout the morning. I think maybe people were underestimating conditions when they first got out there. You can see at this point, the road's really just looking kind of wet, kind of slushy, a little sloppy. Traffic in this area seems to be picking up a little bit better than when we were first when we were a little bit further back, about 10-15 minutes ago. It seems like I-25 has a couple of accidents in the area where things are kind of slowing down at certain points, so keep that in mind as you're headed out as well. As you mentioned, we were on I-70 in the foothills earlier. That's where we were still seeing snowpack completely covering the roads. We saw some semis struggling. We saw some cars struggling on the roads too, so if you are headed in that direction, keep that in mind. Meantime, I think the big thing this morning is getting out on the roads. The roads are wet. You're going to be using your windshield wipers. And there's a lot of cars out there, so make sure that you're driving cautiously. For now, we're live in the Metro. Lisa D'Souza, Fox 31.
I know. Just take a deep breath. Yes, it was 76 yesterday. It's 24 today, but everything's going to be okay.
People are bummed because they washed their car yesterday, you know?
That's because they didn't listen to you, Brooks. Boneheads, don't do that. You told us it was going to snow.
They're optimistic, I guess. Optimistic. Indeed, today is an alert day until the snow starts to move out of the region. The roads are clearly getting better, and once you crack freezing mid-morning, we'll be on the road to a high and dry afternoon and a much warmer forecast. 40 in my forecast this afternoon at 2 o'clock, and that is 18 degrees cooler than normal. But stay with me. We are about to enter a much warmer pattern that I think that undeniably, you just have to call it springtime finally arriving here on the Front Range.
I'm in the Rockies. Thank you. More people